Global leaders are arriving for the G20 Summit. India is playing host. The Indian capital is decked up. Security is beefed up. But beyond the headlines, beyond the analysis, beyond the agenda, let's rewind and understand the basics. What is the G20? The G20 is a group of 19 countries and the European Union. But why should you care about these countries? Because the G20 members represent around 85% of the global GDP. They account for more than 75% of the global trade and represent two-thirds of the world's population. Simply put, the G20 is a big club of countries which will be meeting to discuss political and economic issues which impact you and me. What comes out of these meetings will impact us in more ways than one. But why was the G20 set up? It was founded back in 1999 after the Asian financial crisis. The goal was to get finance ministers in a huddle to come up with new ways to save their respective economies. Later, the first Leaders' Summit was held in 2008 to cope with the fallout of the financial crisis of 2008. And now the G20 has broadened its agenda to cater to more topical issues. Climate change and sustainable development have been added to the pressing issues list. Which countries are included in this club? The European Union, of course, along with Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Russia, South Africa, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, the United Kingdom, the United States, and India, of course, which is currently hosting the G20 Summit in the capital, New Delhi. Every year, a new G20 member state takes over the presidency, and India this year will be setting the agenda for the leaders this time around. So if you're watching us from around the world, you should be glued in to what's happening in New Delhi right now. So what will this G20 Summit be about? One Earth, One Family, One Future. That is the theme set up by Host India for this year's summit. Part of the focus will be sustainable development. Russia's war in Ukraine will be a topic of discussion and debate. But economic issues, climate change and education will also come up. India, for one, will be pushing for a human-centric approach to issues like climate change and food security. Another focus is reshaping the international debt architecture. And once the big bilaterals get underway, big deals are expected too. As India is set to become the voice of the global south, we'll have to wait and see what comes out of the summit. For now, we know that Chinese President Xi Jinping, Russia's Vladimir Putin and Ukraine's Zelensky are not attending. But once the remaining G20 leaders sit down, the names of those who have skipped the summit will definitely come up. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.